All right, we are doing a lesson on rotations today. So go ahead and open this assignment here. Okay, so you're watching the video right now. Here's the document for translations so you can see the assignment in your language. And here's something that I think you already saw. It's about rotation. So let's go ahead and open that up and let's do a quick review. Remember, you can translate it if you need to translate it, right? You can do it in your language and whatever that is that you can read. So this is a very short page. It's only to there, okay? So I just want you to go ahead and review this. But rotation means turning around the center, okay? And the very important point, the distance from the center to any point stays the same. So let's look at this, how this is rotating right here. I like the other one better. But basically every point is the same distance from the center. They're showing that right now, okay? So this point, it's rotating around it, but this point is still the same distance all the way, okay? So you may want to watch that a little bit. Every point's the same, okay? So that's what I'm going to be referring to. The next thing is it's rotating around the point marked with an X. And I guess in this point it is. And maybe the way to think about it is you've got a clock, okay? The hands of a clock rotate around the center of the face. So this 11 is going to rotate around this point right here. So it's going to stay in the same point. So it's going to be right here, and then right here, and then right here, and then right here. But it's always going to be in the same spot from the center. Now, something that's really important. Okay, so see this clock? The reason they call it clockwise is the direction. So a clock that goes this direction, the way a normal clock does, that's called clockwise. Okay, so if you've got a clock, clockwise would be like this arrow over here. Again, it's going to turn like this, right? Counterclockwise goes this direction. That would be this one, right? So this is counterclockwise, goes that way. The opposite. The clock normally goes that way, the clockwise. The counterclockwise goes that way, okay? Very important things to know. The next thing to know is the degrees of a circle or around a point. So it's 360 degrees, right? So around a point. So basically, you're going to have 90 degrees. Okay, and then for this part, 180 would be all the way, half the circle would be 180. Okay. Okay, if we start here, we go there, 90, 180, 270 here. Okay, if we go 3 of them is 270. Every quarter is 90. And then if we go all the way around, it's going to be 360. Okay, so there's two things. Let's look at this. Okay, so if I start at this point and it says 90 degrees counterclockwise, what is that? If I'm starting from this point, let's say I'm starting from this point right here. So I'm going to go counter. So I'm going to go back that way. And I'm going to go 90, which is equals 1/4 of a circle, right? That's equal to 90 over 360. So I would go like this, and that would be from this point, around this point, this would be, excuse me, this would be right here, okay? But I can also start from this point right here. If I go 90 degrees, counterclockwise, I would go from here and I go 1/4 of a circle. And if I go 1/4 of a circle, it would make a perfect right angle. Remember, 90 degrees is a perfect right angle, right? So I'd go like that, and then I would go this way to that point right there. Okay, so I go like that. That would be 90 degrees counterclockwise. If I went 180 degrees counterclockwise, I'd go half of a circle, which is a straight line. So it'd be like this all the way around. Same distance from here to here would be over there, okay? So it would go all the way like that if it was 180 degrees counterclockwise. If it was, now let's just say we have 90 degrees clockwise from a point. Let's say the point is right here, right? What is 90 degrees clockwise? Well, first of all, the distance from here to here is that. So I'd have to make a right angle like that, and it would go this direction. And so it'd be right here. 180 degrees would be a straight line all the way down there, okay? So that's what you're going to see as we do the assignment, okay? So important things. degrees, and then either clockwise or counterclockwise. So let's look at the assignment. Okay, so open the assignment and make sure you are looking at it in Kami so you can make notes. Okay, so the first question we have is number 1. Okay, so we're going to write a rule to find out how it's switching. So we know it starts at U and goes to U prime. So what's happening? Well, we can see that U is right here. Let me make this bigger. Get out of here. Bye-bye. Let's make this bigger, right? So U is right here. It starts right there, right? What direction does it go? Well, it ends up over here. So that means it's going from here to here, right? So if I look at from U to the center, because it rotates around the center, that means it ends up going to this point right here and it goes in that direction, okay? Well, what fraction of a circle is that? It's 90 degrees, right? It's 90 degrees, and it goes that direction, which is counter. So I'm going to go counterclockwise 90 degrees. Okay, so which choice would that be? Well, it's going to be 90 degrees here, and it's counterclockwise, so that's going to be B. Now, when it says about the origin, that means it's spinning around the origin. That is going to be 0.00, okay? That's what the origin is. That's what that means. Okay, good. So now what I want you guys to do is go to another one where we're going to write the rule. So that's a different problem. So the first one, maybe try number 4 just to make sure you understand it. And then maybe pause the video, try it out, and then see what you think. And then come back and I'll go over the solution. Okay, let me make this bigger. There we go. Okay. So again, you can pick any point, but pick the starting point. So I've got this G right here I'm going to pick. So then I notice that G prime is over there. So is it going this way or that way? It's actually going this way. That's clockwise. So we already know it's going to be clockwise. And how many degrees does it go? Well, to figure it out, G would be right there. And then G prime right there. So you draw a line from the 2 points to the center, to the origin. And you can see it's a 90-degree angle. So it's going to be clockwise 90 degrees. 90 degrees clockwise, so D, okay? So that's how you do it. So now we're going to go ahead and look at the second type of question, which is asking us to find the coordinates of the vertices. So let's see what we got over here. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. So oops, that's way too big. Ugh. Okay, good enough. Okay, so here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to rotate at 90, but we don't have the other figure, right? So again, we can pick any point and do the rotation. So we're going to do counterclockwise. So we're going to go this way, and we're going to do 90 degrees. So let's pick point G. Maybe that's an easy one, right? So where's G prime? Well, again, we make a line like this to G, and then when it rotates, it's going to rotate this way, and then it's going to make a 90-degree point. So this is from the origin, it's this way, and it's going to be like that. So G prime is going to be right there, okay? It's going to form a 90-degree angle. It's that far away. And so what is that coordinate point for G prime going to be? Well, that's -1, 1. -1, 1. So let's look for G prime of -1, 1. That would be C, okay? Now, if we needed to do another point, probably H would be very easy, right? H prime, because it's right here on this, so it's going to go that way. And since it's right here, we can see that it's going to be right there to form a 90-degree angle. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3 this way, so 1, 2, 3 this way, H prime. And what is that? That is 1, 2, 3. That's -3, 0. So that's another reason why C is the correct answer, okay? So that's how you can find the coordinates, okay? So let's try this one. Now we're going to rotate it and find out where the figure is. And we've got these choices right here. So one thing we can do is check the degrees is 90 clockwise. So that means is clockwise, it's going to go like this 1/4 of a turn. So let's pick any point. Maybe we can start with Q. So it's 3 this way, right? Plus 3. So it's going to go clockwise, which is this way. And it's going to be a perfect right angle. So it's going to be like that. And it's going to be over here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what point is that for Q prime? That is, well, we're just looking for where it's going to be. So this is going to be there. That's Q prime. R is going to be the same. It's going to also go this way. So R is right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's going to rotate. And let's see how far away this one is. So this is 1, 2. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 over and 3 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4 down and 3 over. So that's going to be right there. Okay. And then P is over here. Okay. So P is going to be, you go 2 over and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So you go 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's P prime. And so you're going to have an object that looks like that. Okay. So which object looks like that? Let's see. It looks like B looks pretty good. Definitely not that one. Not that one. And not that one. So there's really only one that can be it. And that is going to be choice B. Okay. So let's do one more of these. I'm going to pause the video, and then we're going to do another one where we are asked to graph it. So let's rotate this 180 and then come back and then try it. Now, by the way, when it says 180, it goes halfway around. So that could be both clockwise and counterclockwise because it's the same. It's a half a circle, okay? So try this and then come back. So let's pick H. I is actually going to be in the same position because it's 0 away from the origin. So I is going to be in the same place. But how about H? Well, here we go 1. So here it's like that. So it's going to be kind of like this, right? Well, no, that's 90. So then to go 180, it's going to be actually all the way through. So instead of being 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to be 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be over here. This is H prime. So you can have that. G is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be over here, G prime. And we're going to have a figure that looks like that. So let's see if we can find something. That's going to be this one right here. Yes, so that one is D, okay? So it takes some practice, but that's how you can do this one. So when you're done, make sure that you enter your answers into Canvas to get credit for doing it.